The top 11 greatest movie trailers.
This is Watch Mojo's top 10 movie trailers.
Oh, damn you, Watch Mojo, and your ingenious setup. You've done everything from the top 10 broccolis in film to the top 10 lists of top 10 lists of top 10 lists. Fuck it. Okay, as a lot of you know, Watch Mojo recently released a top 10 best film trailers. It's very well put together and it's a good list, you should check it out. But as a lot of you also know, there's no one book that says what you can and cannot review, especially if someone else has done it already. Well, except for that one passage in the Bible, but I think Luke was drunk. Bottom line, there's a lot of different ways to look at the same subject. And none of the trailers that Watch Mojo lists are here on this list. Okay, one is on this list, and yeah, when you see it, you'll understand why. With that said, why do we love film trailers so much? Is it simply because it's hyping up a movie? In some respects, but in many others, it gives you an experience. A mere couple of minutes of excitement that promises even more when you see the movie. Hell, half the time the trailers are better than the movie. And if a movie fails in entertaining you, you still gotta give credit to the trailer that got you there in the first place. We owe a lot of our movie-going experiences to trailers, and it's time to celebrate their editing, their style, and their ability to suck us into an event so much that we tell ourselves there's no way that we can miss it. And we're here to acknowledge the top 11 of them here today. Why top 11? Because I like to go one step beyond. So, sit back and enjoy the top 11 best film trailers. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. While obviously not the best pirate movie, this trailer knew what it had to look like. After a big hit film and an even bigger hit film with a dangling cliffhanger, the ending of the Pirates trilogy had to look epic and huge, with a little comedy thrown in.
Did no one come to save me just because they missed me?
It looked like the end-all of end-alls, building up the death of an era and one glorious uniting of the rebels.
The pirate lords from the four corners of the earth must stand together. There's not been a gathering like this in our lifetime.
And I owe them all money.
It's a giant war of outcasts going up against the man, as well as arch enemies duking it out, somehow timed perfectly to the music. There was tons of people in it, new characters we haven't seen before, the ultimate climax to such a strange trilogy we were suddenly getting sucked into. And what did this giant war amount to in the end? 2 ships circling around in the whirlpool. And there was much rejoicing. Bottom line, we still had to see the movie based on a trailer this epic. And though it was hated by many, it still brought in the box office numbers. So I'd say this trailer was a definite hit.
You're mad.
If I wasn't, this would probably never work.
Number 10. A Serious Man and Little Children. I put these two together because they both do something very similar. Build tension in such a bizarre and unique way. So bizarre and unique that you have to check out the movie to see what the hell's gonna happen in it. In Little Children, we just hear the sound of a train passing by as our main characters talk. Nothing too bad, right?
I thought we could make something really beautiful.
Something for my mommy.
But as the conversations get more uncomfortable, you start to notice that train getting louder and louder.
The refusal to accept a life of unhappiness.
As it gets closer and closer and louder, you suddenly realize you're not watching a train go by, you're watching it about to hit you. I don't know how they did it, but suddenly the sound of a train has become the most intense, terrifying thing I've ever heard. I get it! I'll never take a train again! I'll drive to work! A Serious Man is similar, except with a little bit more of a comedic edge. It opens with the main character getting repeatedly smashed against a chalkboard. Always a good intro. But it keeps going throughout the trailer, making a bit of a musical beat.
I think it's time that we start talking about a divorce.
Larry, we're gonna be fine.
Other awkward elements start to be repeated too, like a car crash, an irritating cough, and a voice saying, "We're going to be fine." All of this being played over him asking another person for help.
We're gonna be fine.
I've tried to be a serious man.
We're gonna be fine.
Tried to do right, be a member of the community.
We're gonna be fine.
Soon you start to realize this horrifying repetition is actually the soundtrack of this person's life. And it'll continue to grow until he gets urgent attention. Thus, once it looks like he might actually get it,
the rabbi is busy.
He didn't look busy.
I don't know about you, but I'm seeing both of these very fucked up movies. If not, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Ah! Number 9. Jurassic Park. We all know the Spielberg classic nowadays, and we all know what the dinosaurs look like, what they do, all that good stuff. But back then, the only knowledge we had of Jurassic Park was the book, and CGI was not well known by most people. So, logically, it would make sense to show the dinosaurs in all their glory to get people in the seats, right? Nope. Spielberg was so excited about how good his effects looked that he actually decided to keep it a surprise. Oh, we got a glimpse here or there just to know the dinosaurs are in it, but most of the trailer is just people looking at the dinosaurs, without actually showing them. But hell, they look so blown away at what they were seeing that obviously we had to see it too. And it made sense. People would run off and tell everybody, "Oh my god, the dinosaurs, they looked incredible," that you'd have to go and see it for yourself.
We've made living biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
There's something almost like a little kid in this. You got something really huge to show everybody. Effects so good that most of them still hold up even by today's standards. But instead of showing them off, you just build up the mystery even more. The 1999 Godzilla would try something similar, but that was like a bad carnival freak show, where you're promised something amazing, but the actual result sucked. That and dialogue like this didn't help.
That's a lot of fish.
Nah, Jurassic Park sums up your movie in a better line.
That is one big pile of shit.
Suck it. This was one of the few times where the tease was so great that you swore nothing could live up to it. But sure enough, it did. It knew just what to show and just what to not show, and it was confident enough to know that you wouldn't be disappointed.
An adventure 65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park.
Number 8. I'm not even gonna name this one. I think you can all guess what it is.
Years ago, a battle was fought and an empire was destroyed. Now, the saga will continue.
You were expecting someone else?
Yep, the same year The Phantom Menace was being hyped up, Austin Powers' sequel, The Spy Who Shagged Me, surprised us with this hilarious fake-out.
Yeah, baby!
The interesting thing is the first Austin Powers was not a hit film, but its rental life was proving to be very strong. And truth be told, if you watch The Spy Who Shagged Me again, it's really not as good as you remember it.
Let me make you a deal, alright? You get the motor, you keep your money. And I'll get your baby. Right.
Yeah, dig that awkward silence. The reason I mention this is because I honestly think, while the cult following of the first film helped, the advertising is what helped make it a big hit. I think people were laughing so hard at this and so happy just to see these characters again that no matter what you showed them, they probably would have been happy. How can you not get excited for a film that openly tells you that seeing it should not be your #1 priority?
If you see only one movie this summer, see Star Wars. But if you see 2 movies, see Austin Powers.
Nothing much else to say. It delivered just the right punch at just the right time.
The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Hello, help me with the chair, please. All I wanted was a frickin' rotating chair.
Throw me a bone here, people.
Number 7. Planet of the Apes. Yes, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes. Why is this one on the list? Well, we all know it's a piece of crap. And even when we heard the idea, we thought it was going to be a piece of crap too. But by God, the trailer actually managed to fool us. It didn't look anything like the original, but we didn't care. It was totally owning the idea of being some sort of intense war movie about man versus beast. And it looked surprisingly badass. You could argue this was the first film, or at least the first trailer, that opened people up to the idea of a reimagining rather than a remake. We knew this wouldn't be as good as the original, but they were hyping us up for something that looked pretty gritty and fun. Think about that. A remake of Planet of the Apes. Not a prequel, but a remake was getting us excited.
Declare martial law.
The story is spreading through the villages. They all want to see this human who defies the apes.
Full division! Full battle ready!
If a film trailer can get us riled up over something this obviously stupid, it's doing something right. Now don't get me wrong, it's not the movie we got. All the cool badass action and war movie cries were replaced by awkward monkey sex. Sold? But the movie did a good job tricking us into thinking this was gonna be something awesome. Nice going there, trailer. You could sell us on anything.
Kill them all.
Number 6. The Dark Knight Rises. Now while most people remember The Dark Knight and its trailer, it's The Dark Knight Rises that had the harder sell. Your last film had an incredible performance by a now dead actor who won an Oscar for it and is being held as, well, the comic book movie to change all comic book movies. How the hell do you top something like that? Well, this film makes it almost look like it's going to. Where the last film seemed like a battle in the streets, this seemed like an all-out war. Landmarks blowing up, buildings being torn apart, crowds chanting of an uprising. It looked massive. The Dark Knight trailer had to do really was show Heath Ledger as the Joker, and the film would just sell itself. Not that's not a good trailer, but that's basically all it had to do. Here, they had to convince us that something even better was on the horizon, and they kind of did.
You're all gonna wonder how you ever thought you could live so large and leave so little for the rest of us.
Consider, for example, the introduction of Bane. Comic book fans certainly know him, but most mainstream viewers are more familiar with, say, the Penguin or the Riddler. But they did a good job not only introducing him, but making him look intimidating.
When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
Of course, that's before we knew he was somebody else's bitch, like most great villains.
I'm here to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny!
Yeah, wouldn't the Joker have been much more terrifying if he said, "I'm doing this for the Scarecrow"? Oh well, I make no secret that I thought this film sucked hard, but the trailer had great build-up, great intensity, and great delivery of a massive, massive film. And give them a few more points for not having Batman talk in it either.
You were excommunicated by a gang of psychopaths.
Will that ever get better with time? Spider-Man. Now I'm not talking about the trailer that was played over and over, I'm talking about the teaser trailer that was sadly pulled after the events of 9/11. It starts off with this high-tech robbery going on. No text, no announcer, no nothing.
Get your head down, get your head down!
It'll all be over in about 30 seconds. The candy from a baby. Yeah.
Just when it looks like they're gonna get away with it, they get caught. But by whom or what? When this played in the theater, the audience roared. Everybody knew what that meant, and they were excited as hell. True, we didn't see much of Spidey in the trailer, but it was a teaser, and it left us with one of the most memorable images that you could leave on. Now sadly, because of 9/11, the trailer was yanked, as well as this nice poster that had the World Trade Center in it. But folks that saw this on the big screen knew how great this payoff was. It got everybody excited for the superhero we've waited years and years to finally see on the big screen.
I hunch.
Well, the trailer was still good. It had the element of surprise, the element of imagination. It was just great. If you weren't hyped for Spider-Man before that, you certainly were after. Number 4. Independence Day. I was gonna put Cloverfield here, but I tried to think back to who really did the destroying the landmark thing the biggest and the best. And that was definitely Independence Day. It knew exactly what people wanted to see, and it threw nothing else at them. Because it didn't need anything else. You didn't know what the story was, who was in it, what it was about. All you knew was the fucking White House got blowed up. Now keep in mind, this is before CG explosions were seen all over the goddamn place and giant landmarks being eradicated was common. It was also before these guys got a fetish for destroying the White House because, well, they have nothing else to offer. But back then, nobody had ever seen this. It was kind of jarring. And that's all it needed. We were gonna see that movie no matter what. With Cloverfield, we've seen a lot of found footage films and a lot of monster movies, and not showing the title was a clever touch, or the monster for that matter, but this was a big scale visual that would stay in our minds forever. It's the fucking mic drop of disaster films. Number 3. Alien. Yes, this is the one that WatchMojo also put on their list, and for very good reason. Alien is probably the scariest trailer you can ever muster up. It starts off with what looks like a series of symbols, but then you realize it's spelling out the title of the film. Alien? Come on, we've seen a ton of those in movies, right? But the trailer lets the idea sink in, the idea of the unknown and not being sure of what it can do. It doesn't rely on screams, jump scares, or any of that bullshit you see in modern day scary trailers. The audio is just a racing heartbeat and a siren. It builds faster and faster as it, once again, never shows the monster, but instead lets the atmosphere and suspense build. It's just so creepy in its simplicity. Movies before and after have really desensitized the ideas of unknown creatures from another world, but this trailer really emphasizes how frightening the unknown can be. What is it? What does it look like? How do you kill it? Can you kill it? What will it do to you? All these terrifying questions are raised simply by letting us feel like we're in this uncomfortable position. There's only one tagline at the very end, and it's as perfect as a tagline can get. It's creepy, atmospheric, and keeps you on the edge of your seat. All in a matter of just a few minutes. Do yourself a favor and don't watch it in the dark. Number 2. Titanic. Yeah, say what you want about the movie, but love it or hate it, this is one of the most massive trailers ever. This trailer does everything to show that director James Cameron is 100% confident in this film. Where most trailers are 1 or 2 minutes long, this one is 4. Where most trailers try to keep certain parts of the movie secret, this one practically tells you everything that happens in the story. Hell, we focus on the old lady for a solid minute until we see our main characters. Even the framing plot device, that gets attention in here.
I have been wrong.
Is this it? Don't you believe it, Rose? Rose!
Practically no major plot threads are left out at all.
The water is freezing and there aren't enough boats. Half the people on the ship are going to die.
Not the better half.
But the great thing about it is that the film is so huge in its towering presence that it doesn't matter. The more you show, the more people will want to see it. Why? Because the size and weight of it is perfectly represented. Even if you looked at it and said, oh man, those characters look cliché and that story looks silly, it doesn't matter. You're gonna see this no matter what. That's a pretty tough task when you think about it. You know you won't like a lot of it, and yet you know you have to see it. Like, you have no choice. It's still something so big that you have to check it out. It's like an obligation. That's the sign of an incredible trailer.
I have nothing to offer you, and I know how the world works.
Iceberg, what eyes?
Capture both the whimsy and the terror that the film tried to convey, and chances are one of those, if not both of those, is going to pull you in.
I hope you enjoy your time together!
You have to stay on the ship as long as possible.
Finally top it off with arguably the most impressive and intense shot in the movie. Holy shit. And that is why you saw this movie in the theater. Well, and the magic of Billy Zane, of course.
Brenda.
And the #1 greatest film trailer of all time is... Psycho. Now, on the surface, this might actually look like a bad trailer. In fact, you can make the argument that this trailer does everything completely wrong. What is a trailer supposed to be? Well, it's supposed to be an experience, something to suck you in, excite you, and make you not want to miss the movie at all costs. It's not supposed to just be a guy walking around saying, I made a movie, and give away all the biggest scenes in a nonchalant way, all while showing absolutely no clips from the movie at all.
In that window on the second floor, the single one in front, that's where the woman was first seen.
But that is exactly what Hitchcock does here. To give a little backstory, he had a lot riding on this film. In fact, most people passed on producing it, so he had to finance most of it himself. So you would think he would do everything in his power to make this look like the most epic film he could, like most other classic trailers. But instead, he walks around showing the set and talking in his usual very monotone voice.
This picture has great significance.
It is one of the most unexciting things you can imagine. In fact, he's giving away the biggest scares. It's almost like he's trying to ruin the film.
Now, it was at the top of these stairs that the second murder took place. She came out of the door there and met the victim at the top.
So then, why would this be the greatest trailer ever? It sounds like it does everything you're not supposed to do with a trailer. This is where Hitchcock's genius comes in. Knowing the hype and the stories around the film, as well as his awareness of his celebrity, he gives people the exact opposite of what they were expecting. He's droll, he's dry, but all he talks about is how incredibly violent and grotesque the movie he made is. Almost like there's something wrong with him.
You should have seen the blood. There was the knife, dreadful. The victim tumbled and fell with a horrible crash. I think the back broke immediately and hit the floor. The whole place was, well, it's too horrible to describe. Twisting of the, well, it's...
His description of such awful imagery is both specific and vague. And it's so strangely executed that you can't help but question what kind of a movie is this?
Being dominated by an almost maniacal woman was enough to drive anyone to the extreme of, well, let's go in.
The best part is, all the talk of blood and gore doesn't faze him at all, but what gets him really uncomfortable is when he talks about the motivation. That's when he goes speechless.
She was the weirdest and the most... Well, let's go into her bedroom. This was the son's room, but we won't go in there because... let's go along to cabin #1.
Well, now you gotta see this movie just to know what the hell makes him feel so awkward. Look at this scene. We have no idea what he sees in that closet. It could be a dead body or just ugly clothes. But chances are, his reaction would be the same.
I think some of her clothes are still in this wardrobe.
There's even a scene where he accidentally goes into the bathroom.
Bathroom.
It's almost like he's trolling us. Like his big budget controversial epic is reduced to him talking about it like an incredibly boring fanboy. But with his brilliant direction and acting, he told us everything and nothing about the film at the same time. And by the time it was over, by God, we just had to see what kind of sick, fucked up movie this guy put together. With only one clip from the film played at the end, it does everything the total opposite of what a trailer is supposed to do. And yet, through clever wording, dry acting, and dark atmosphere, you know it would drive you insane if you never saw this strange, strange movie from this strange, strange man. And sure enough, you did see it, as did millions of people, and millions of people still do today. And it all started with this awesome little gem. It's the perfect trailer for doing everything wrong and yet somehow getting everything right.
And,
I'm a nostalgia critic, I remember it so you don't have to. Hey guys, Doug Walker here. Just a quick little announcement about appearance I'm making. I just got off the phone with Oakbrook Mall, the Barnes & Noble at Oakbrook Mall in Illinois, and apparently August 9th, they would like me to speak at sort of this pop culture promotion they're doing about a lot of things sort of nerdy and geeky and stuff like that. And the one that they're doing, they're having me speak at, is a adaptation lecture pretty much about page to screen, just talking about a lot of the big blockbusters that have come out, like The Hobbit and Walking Dead, Fault in Our Stars, you know, a lot of these famous books that have been turned into movies, and it's kind of a big group conversation. It's, you know, I'll be out there with the microphone as sort of opening up to you guys and just sort of sharing ideas about what makes a good adaptation, what makes a bad adaptation. It should just be interesting. So, it'll be at 3 o'clock on August 9th, and again, that is at the Barnes & Noble in Oakbrook Mall, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Come on out and say hi.